When designing these vehicles, French engineers aimed for three key goals: driving comfort, spaciousness, and efficient engines. With a Dacia, you shouldn't worry about the engine. With a Peugeot, you should feel right at home in the cockpit. And with a Citroen, you should experience comfort and ease. The three vehicles we're introducing today embody these goals. The Dacia Duster stands out for its simplicity. Models from 2020 onward feature 1.0-liter turbocharged gasoline TCE 90 and TCE 100 engines. In the higher segment, there are 1.3-liter turbo TCE 130 and TCE 150 options. On the diesel side, 1.5-liter blue DCI 95 and DCI 115 engines are available. The engines are straightforward in design without an overload of technology. The TCE 90 is sufficient for city driving, but may struggle during heavy load trips. The TCE 130 is the engine many users describe as the sweet spot. The diesel versions, meanwhile, significantly reduce fuel costs, particularly during long-distance driving. The Duster is built on the Renault-Nissan B platform. This platform features a simple, robust design with low maintenance costs. In the 4x4 versions, the rear-mounted torque coupling system is kept mechanically straightforward. There are no complex electronic four-wheel drive systems, which reduces the risk of breakdowns in the long term. The 6-speed manual transmission stands out as the most reliable transmission option in this segment. There is no CVT or dual-clutch transmission. This is a major advantage. For those who prefer an automatic, a 7-speed dual-clutch EDC transmission is also available, though some drivers report slight vibrations at low speeds with this transmission. Which Duster transmission do you think is the safest bet? McPherson struts up front, torsion beam in the rear. A simple, tried-and-true setup. Suspension parts are inexpensive and widely available. There's a noticeable stiffness on rough roads, but this is also a sign of durability. The Duster's suspension isn't complicated, and that's a deliberate choice. The most common comment on European forums: "I've driven it for years and only took it in for routine maintenance." The vast majority of Duster owners with over 150,000 kilometers on the odometer report that they haven't experienced any serious breakdowns. Criticisms are primarily directed at noise insulation and cabin quality. To be blunt, the interior isn't the most premium in this segment. Hard plastics, a basic screen, modest seats. But the buttons are still physical. The system is simple, and there isn't much that can break. The screen and connectivity options have improved in the updated model from 2022 onward. This is one of the Duster's strongest selling points. The average annual maintenance cost is significantly lower than that of its competitors. Parts are widely available and any service center can handle repairs. Insurance costs are also among the most affordable in the segment. The Duster isn't perfect. The interior is basic and sound insulation is average. But the engines are reliable. The chassis is sturdy. Maintenance is affordable. And there are dozens of Duster owners who've surpassed 200,000 kilometers. If your priority is reliability and low operating costs rather than prestige, the Duster remains a strong contender. The Citroen C5 Aircross has streamlined its engine lineup with the post-2020 facelift model. On the gasoline side, the 1.2-liter PureTech 130 and PureTech 155 engines are available. For the diesel option, the 1.5-liter Blue HD I130 stands out. There is also a plug-in hybrid version, a 225 horsepower PHEV option, combining a 1.6-liter gasoline engine with an electric motor. The PureTech 130 is quite sufficient for city driving and offers satisfactory fuel efficiency. For long-distance driving, the Blue HDI 130 diesel stands out in terms of both torque and economy. The engine's overall design isn't complex, but early production models in the PureTech series, especially those from before 2019, had reported issues with chain wear and oil consumption. These issues were largely resolved after the 2020 facelift. If you're planning to buy a C5 Aircross, focus on 2020 and later models. Would you prefer the C5 Aircross with a diesel engine or a gasoline PureTech engine? The C5 Aircross is built on the PSA Group's EMP2 platform. This platform is shared with the Peugeot 3008, 5008, and Opel Grandland. It's a widely produced platform that's well established in the service network. It's not a vehicle that's been criticized for structural integrity. It's known to maintain chassis integrity over the long term. The C5 Aircross comes standard with the 8-speed EAT8 automatic transmission. This transmission is widely regarded as one of PSA's most refined automatic transmissions. Gear shifts are smooth, and there is positive feedback regarding long-term durability. Although a manual option is available in some markets, versions equipped with the EAT8 are generally preferred. No CVT, no dual clutch. This is a major strength for the C5 Aircross. Here lies the most important feature that sets the C5 Aircross apart from its competitors. Citroen's Progressive Hydraulic Cushions Suspension System, PHC for short, uses additional hydraulic dampers on all four wheels. In addition to the standard spring shock absorber combination, this system absorbs bumps on rough roads and elevates cabin comfort well above the segment average. Some drivers even liken this ride quality to the old Citroën hydraulic systems. For comfort-focused users, this suspension system alone can be a deciding factor. There are two things C5 Aircross owners emphasize most in European forums: the comfort of the suspension and the quietness of the cabin. Criticisms mainly focus on the infotainment system, occasionally freezing, and some plastic trim wearing out over time. Reports of mechanical issues have decreased significantly in models produced after 2020. The vast majority of owners with mileage between 120,000 and 160,000 kilometers report having experienced no serious engine or transmission issues. The C5 Aircross's interior truly stands out in this segment. It features a spacious and airy cabin, soft touch surfaces, and 3 separate rear seats that can be slid and reclined individually. Each rear seat can move independently, a rare feature in the compact SUV segment. With an 8-inch touchscreen, wireless phone charging, and a spacious cargo area, it's a practical vehicle. The cabin's noise insulation is among the best in this segment. Thanks to the widespread use of the EMP2 platform, there are no issues finding parts. Annual maintenance costs are reasonable for the mid-size segment. AdBlue consumption should be taken into account in Blue HDI diesel versions, but this is standard for all modern diesel vehicles. The C5 Aircross is a significantly more refined vehicle with its post-2020 model. Its suspension comfort is the best in the segment, its transmission is proven, and its interior is noticeably higher quality compared to its competitors. Once the issues of the early models are left behind, this vehicle offers a strong option for long-term use. The Peugeot 3008 expanded and refined its engine lineup following the 2020 facelift. On the gasoline side, there are 1.2-liter PureTech 130 and PureTech 155 options. In the upper segment, the GT plug-in hybrid version, which combines a 1.6-liter turbocharged gasoline engine with an electric motor, is available in 225 and 300 horsepower variants. On the diesel side, the 1.5-liter Blue HDI 130 remains a strong option. The PureTech 130 is quite successful in terms of fuel efficiency for city driving. The Blue HDI 130 diesel, meanwhile, is the best option for long-distance drivers, striking the optimal balance between torque and fuel economy. Chain and oil consumption issues in PureTech engines produced after 2020 have been largely resolved. This is a significant improvement, as earlier generation PureTech engines had faced criticism in this area. If you're considering the 3008, be sure to focus on models from 2020 onward. The 3008 shares the same EMP2 platform as the C5 Aircross. However, Peugeot has tuned this platform slightly differently. placing greater emphasis on driving dynamics rather than comfort. The chassis stiffness is slightly higher compared to the C5 Aircross. The platform has been tested in millions of vehicles and is extremely well known within the service network. Feedback from 3008 owners regarding long-term chassis durability is generally positive. The 3008 also features the EAT8 8-speed automatic transmission. This transmission, which we also saw in the C5 Aircross, is widely regarded as PSA's most reliable automatic transmission. Gear shifts are smooth, and response times are satisfactory. Reports of serious transmission failures during long-term use are quite limited. In PHEV versions, the EEAT8, a version compatible with electric power, is used, and its overall performance is similarly rated positively. The 3008 suspension is not identical to the C5 Aircross's PHC system. It uses a standard McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. However, Peugeot's tuning strikes a balance point between comfort and sportiness. In the GT and GT Pack versions, driving mode options come into play. Comfort, normal, and sport modes alter the suspension behavior. It isn't as soft as the C5 Aircross on rough roads, but this becomes an advantage for those seeking driving dynamics. On forums in Europe, the driving experience is what 3008 owners emphasize most. A significant number of users note that there are few vehicles in the compact SUV segment that feel this sporty. Criticisms are primarily directed at the small steering wheel in the I-cockpit design and the headroom in the rear seats. In terms of mechanical reliability, models from 2020 onward, especially the diesel versions, generate very few complaints. Feedback from owners with over 150,000 kilometers on the odometer is overwhelmingly positive. The 3008's interior is by far the most impressive on this list. Peugeot's I-cockpit design philosophy truly comes to life here. A small yet responsive steering wheel, screens, and a dashboard oriented directly toward the driver, and premium material quality. The 10-inch touchscreen, head-up display option, high-quality seat materials, and cabin ambiance truly stand out in this price segment. While some users may find the small steering wheel unusual at first, it's said that once you get used to this design, it takes the driving experience to a whole new level. What do you think of the 3008's interior? The widespread use of the EMP2 platform offers an advantage here as well. Parts are readily available and service costs are reasonable. Blue HDI diesel models require AdBlue monitoring. In PHEV models, brake pads last much longer thanks to regenerative braking, which translates to significant savings in the long run. Overall annual maintenance costs remain noticeably lower compared to German competitors. The Peugeot 3008 sits at the top of this list for good reason. Following the 2020 facelift, engine issues have been resolved, the transmission is proven, the interior is the most impressive in the segment, and the driving dynamics are a step ahead of the competition. If you want reliability and driving pleasure in one package, the 3008 is the French SUV that provides the strongest answer to that question. Today, we've introduced these exceptionally durable, trouble-free vehicles. These French SUVs are not just a means of transportation, they also offer a living space. With their trouble-free engines and transmissions, they've successfully earned a place among France's best.